Well, here's an interesting story that you don't hear every day. I was on my way to work in the morning, and I've worked at the same place for 23 years, and I have to cross a set of railroad tracks twice a day, every day. Well, on this particular morning, as I was crossing the tracks, the lights weren't flashing, the gates weren't down, and next thing I know, I'm being struck in the driver's side and shoved into a ditch while I was crossing the tracks. For a second I thought, did I get hit by a train? But no, I got hit by one of those service trucks that travel up and down the tracks. And it totaled my truck, left me with a concussion and a lot of questions. So while I take time to heal a little bit, I probably won't be doing any new work, but luckily I filmed some work that I did before this happened, and I'll put that up, and hopefully I'll be back at the project soon. But till then, I hope you enjoy my pre-film bits, and pray for my head to clear up, right? Thanks for following along, and I hope you enjoy. And I'll leave you with that. Thanks. So here we're cutting out the rotted parts of the toe board where it meets the floor. And a little trick I like to do on like tight spots and complex shapes and things, you can, some people use a cardboard template, or it's hard to measure something that's got curves and different things in it. So I like to use masking tape and draw out the shape, leave a little extra material on both sides, so that when you chop the piece there, it's better to have a little bit extra than to not have enough to plug the hole. So I figured this piece here, I'll make it in two pieces, this piece over here, and then we'll do this side piece here, and then we'll do the same thing on the other side to fix those holes, and then we'll move to the back. I'll show you how this works out when I get a patch made up for it. Okay, so use those patterns we made to make up these metal pieces and cut them out, and got them welded in there. So that's looking good so far. Basically what I'll do, you're not going to see this when there's a carpet in the car, so I'm gonna just put a little kitty hair on the seams, a little seam sealer, and then I'll probably rubberize it, and that should be good enough for a floor. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. So we got a little more work done here. I locked in that wheel well there with some pieces. I didn't do the top yet because we have to cut off the top and do the roof, so it'll be easier to do that once we're that stuff is cut off. I had to rebuild the bottom of this door jamb that was missing, and then along the bottom. And then what I'm doing here, somebody back in the day, they riveted this piece here on top of the quarter that was there, and it's still usable. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting along where it was riveted on there, and evening it out, and then spotting it in as I go. Basically, I cut a little bit, then I'll spot it, and then I'll cut a little bit more and I'll spot it. And I'll use as much of this panel as I can that's good, and fill in all the holes afterwards. Well, not the trim holes, but the holes between the spots. You want to jump around so you don't build up too much heat or it'll warp the panel. And basically, back here there's a little bit on the lip that's no good, but actually the lip that's sandwiched underneath of it is still good, and it goes all the way to about there. So I can cut this part out and there's still a good lip under there. I know a new quarter would be great, but they're also very expensive, and I'm not worried about this dent. People always seem to push these things by the fins. I don't know if somebody, you know, shoved it with a bulldozer or something out in the woods, but they always seem to shove them by the fins and they all get bent. But I'm not worried about that, because we're going to have to chop that off to put the tailgate pieces on to convert it to a Nomad. So all that bent up metal will be gone. So I'll bring you back when I got a little more to do. Here I figured I'd give you a better look at the roof. Couldn't see it that well when it was stacked up against the wall there, but this is the Nomad roof that we're going to be grafting on. That's the different sides. Like I say, I wish they hadn't let a gopher gnaw the thing off of the car that it came off of, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. This was actually cut off of a 57 Nomad all the way back in 1974. And the car was going to be scrapped, and for some reason or another, the guy who was scrapping the car thought it would be a good idea to save the roof along with the tailgate and the pieces for the back. So, and it languished in a barn for 50 years, basically, and waited for somebody to do something with it. So, I guess that's us. This is what I was talking about, the door jambs being different between the Nomad and the two-door hardtop. The latches sits up higher, and so we're going to have to use this door jamb and graft it on to the jamb that's on the car to mate them together. But I figured I would at least give you a better look at this roof that we're going to be putting on the car.